Hey Motorheads, we have a great show coming your way today. Just check out these Jeeps we have in the studio. Gorgeous builds. We'll show you how to get yours from mild to wild and everything in between. Plus, lots more, including our weekly visit from Professor John Gardner. Motorhead Garage is ready. Are you set? Let's go.
Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest in exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
Thanks for being with us here at Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com. Now, our good friends at Truckers Warehouse are here again, and you might remember from last time, they're famous for their lift kits and suspension, but they're also doing magnificent builds with Jeeps like these two here. We'll talk about this one in a minute. First, I want to talk about this 2023 JL here. Why is a JL like this a good jumping off point when you're doing a build?
When you buy a Jeep like this, it's basically a blank canvas, so it allows the owner to be able to express themselves, do mods on it to kind of show their taste. So obviously this one has some.
I'd say. Now, this came stock with a Hemi.
Yes.
So that part is pretty magnificent, but you've taken it to a whole new level. What are some of the things you added to it?
So we put a rock crawler 3.5-inch X Factor Pro Series aluminum lift under it, along with the Fox 3.0 internal bypass shocks, which actually has over 20 variations of shock absorption from high speed and low speed.
How do you change that?
So basically there's a knob on the front. You just use an Allen head, and then there is a big knob for the high speed and a small knob for the low speed.
So that makes this thing great on the road, great off-road as well.
Now you can fine tune the way that it's going to go on or off-road.
What are some other things that have brought this Jeep to the next level?
So for the armor, we went with Genrite off-road for the front and the rear and the tire carrier. These are great. They're lightweight because they're aluminum, but they're still just as tough as steel.
Why do you guys build Jeeps like this? Why do you go to the extreme?
Well, it's all about, one, expressing your creativity, but also capability.
And you want to show what you're able to do, so if someone wants just a lift kit or something like that, they're going to know you can do all this.
Oh, yeah.
So they can certainly trust you with the lift kit.
Absolutely.
When somebody wants a build, what's the process like?
So they can either come by the store in Decatur, Alabama, or they can call us. Some people come in and they already know what exactly they want, which is kind of easy. We just give them the parts and we put it on. Some others don't have kind of that vision, or they might have a vision but kind of don't know how to put it together, and that's where we help them out, through text, calls, and talking in general with them.
And during the build, what's the communication process like?
So as soon as we get them on the schedule, we start the build, whether it's something small that takes a day or two, or a big build like this that can take multiple weeks. We stay in communication with them between text calls and sending videos to them to show the progress of their build.
What is it like when someone comes in with the blank slate you talked about, just a stock Jeep? Now this one has a Hemi, but a stock Jeep. They bring it into you and you've achieved their vision. You're able to give them something that they maybe couldn't even imagine before.
So when they first come in and see it, you can just tell right away with the way their facial expression is, or their eyes. And it even follows up with a follow-up, the calls, the text, the social media posts, thanking us for the build, and how prideful they are of the outcome of it.
And now that's something you can do with a brand new Jeep. You guys also love the classics at Truckers Warehouse.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so enter this 1983 CJ7. This thing is spectacular. Andrew, you told me this thing was basically a barn find. So what's original on this Jeep?
So you have the radiator and the axles and the frame and the transmission, that's it.
Where'd everything else come from?
Everything else came up from a great company called Omix, from the tub to the fenders to the grill, and anything in between, screws, nuts, bolts, and that's where we got it all from.
The highest quality stuff you can find, of course. That's what you guys do. Let's talk about the interior. That's something you wanted to keep period correct, but still bring it up a notch. So what'd you do on the inside?
So we have the custom stitched and Levi button edition seats, front and rear. We also customized the gear shifter to make it a cleaner look.
Yeah, much cleaner look there. You've got a boot. The original boots were rubber. So these are a nicer looking boot there too. And even down to the details, the plate there on the floor where the
all custom
shifter comes out. Very, very cool work. And the dash is something you guys did as well, right?
Yes, we also, because this wasn't a Golden Eagle, we actually added the tack and the clock into the dash.
That's something that the Golden Eagle always had there, so that's a very cool touch. And of course, the Eagle on the hood looks great. Under the hood, how did you want to stay period correct there?
Everything's period correct with the 258 and the 5-speed transmission.
You guys love to roll out these Jeep builds when you go to the Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion in Pigeon Forge, which is one of the biggest Jeep events in the country, and it's your biggest event certainly. What do you have planned for folks for 2024?
So we'll be out on the outdoor vendor booth again from August 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. We'll have the J10 from last show, the CJ. We'll have the black 392. We'll also have a silver 392 on portals from 74 weld, which is going to show the contrast between a conventional lift and portals.
Well, if you're in the Pigeon Forge area, you should head on over to the Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion to see the builds from Truckers Warehouse, because their builds are going to knock your socks off. Believe me, you can also find them online at tw4x4.com. We'll return with more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com, so don't go anywhere.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com, is brought to you by Amsoil, the first in synthetics, Shade Wagon, throw some shade, and by DragonFireTools.com, industrial workbenches with integrated tool storage.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com. We've heard from a whole slew of pickup owners, and they wanted to see this piece again. Well, your wish is our command. Pickup trucks, tremendously useful, right? Well, if you get a bike or a kayak or something, you want to try to throw it in the truck. It's got to go in the bed. It's going to rattle around. No way to secure it. So you end up with a rack. Well, you can't use the rack if you have a tonneau cover, but there is a solution. It's from our friends at BILLIE Bars. Now, Nate, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dave.
You guys came up with a solution here. I can use my tonneau cover with the rack. How does it work?
So it's pretty simple. It's a simple system with 4 brackets, 2 bars, and some hardware. And all we're doing is clamping to the inside of the bed rail and allowing you to secure your belongings with the tonneau cover to keep your truck a truck.
Well, let's look at the brackets themselves to see how those work here. You've got 2 different sizes.
Correct. Yeah, we have a 5-inch and an 8-inch bracket size. They're steel brackets that are powder coated, and what's neat is we have a zinc base below the fine texture powder coat, which gives you extra protection if there is any chipping. We also put some RTV from our friends at Permatex in the cradle here, giving you added protection and corrosion prevention.
And I like the fact that it's double coated here. Let's talk about the rack itself now. You've got the 2 thumb screws there.
Yeah, so our standard sets come with security screws. We also have thumb screws here. And the great thing about our system is that it's easy to take on and off, achievable by one person. And then you can take the bars off if you need bed access. So you would just twist these knobs, or in the case of the security screws, use an impact driver, boom, boom, 4 bolts and the bar's off. The other great thing is we have a T-slot extrusion here. It's aluminum, so you can throw stuff on it and it'll never rust if it's scratched. And then we can add what are called T-nuts into the channel here, allowing to mount all different types of accessories and then kind of whatever the customer can dream of.
And that's a standard T-nut. This is sort of something you've seen before, so it's not like you have to run out and buy special proprietary hardware from it.
No, it's a standard T-slot extrusion that works with a lot of different hardware that you can find on the market.
How do the brackets attach to the side of the truck?
So if you don't have a utility track, in the case of this F-150, we would just clamp in the inner bed lip. So this would sit kind of right behind here, and in between the two would be the bed lip, and you're just clamping. And once the system's fully installed is where you get the stability and strength.
Now, you've got a bike on back there, and there's a few extra accessories to go with the bicycles. A lot of stuff that I haven't seen before.
Yeah, so bikes, kayaks, rooftop tents are really popular. We don't have them featured here because it kind of hide the bars. But we got a lot of neat products from other companies as well as some of ours. We use a company called Rocky Mounts, who we absolutely love. They make a piece called the drop top, which allows you to physically lock your piece. A lot of security here in this system.
And talking security here, you can leave your tonneau cover on, which means you can essentially use your truck bed as a trunk when you want to take your bike and hit the trails as well.
Yeah, so the hard trifold cover behind us, very secure. You can lock your tailgate, and like you said, you've got all your belongings stored below. They're safe, hopefully dry, out of the elements.
All right, Nate, we're going to take the bike off here so we can get to the rack and show how we can get to the bed of the truck as well. We'll take off the drop top from Rocky Mount here. And the bike is loose, and you are free to move about the country. And now we're going to take off the actual rack itself. Now, the folks from BILLIE Bars give you this locking tool, and you can use that, but they also will sell you one that goes on your drill or impact driver, and we know that's a whole lot easier. So I'm going to use that. Bill on the other side is going to loosen the other 2 bolts. So to get the rack off, it's only 4 bolts, Bill. Super simple. We'll move that off. You got that side off?
Got it off.
You got it? We'll lift this off. Very good. Now, you're a mechanical engineer?
I am. Yeah.
So you've designed a lot of crazy stuff, really complicated stuff. So you know this is a quality item.
Made in the USA. Everything has a 3-year warranty for rust and corrosion resistant. You know, if there's any problems, just reach out to us, and customer service is our #1 thing.
All right. Well, let's get to the pièce de résistance here. Let's check out the tonneau cover.
So there we go. We got a bunch of stuff in the bed that's secure. So all we do is take the crossbars off. The brackets stay on at all times, and latch the tonneau cover, and you can flip it open.
And that's it. You get full use of your truck, so you're not wasting all the space. And you can use a lot of things with this. In fact, you said that a lot of users even come up with their own ideas.
Yeah.
We've got the Rome Adventure case behind you there, bikes, kayaks, all kinds of stuff. And it enables you to get it up and out of the way, and you can still use the space underneath.
Like I said, it's an outdoors company, but we like to keep our truck a truck. We use it for work, hauling dirt, mulch, and, whatever we need to haul.
And what makes you most proud about what you're doing here?
Getting people outside. It's our main goal. We think everybody would have a happier life if they did experience the outdoors, mountain biking, hiking, whatever the case may be.
You had a guy just last week tell you how easy the Billie bars have made his life.
Yes, he actually had Parkinson's syndrome, and he was able to install the bars himself, and he reached out to us and couldn't thank us enough to, actually get a rack on his truck and use his truck.
The track, the way this installs, looks familiar to me. Is this something I've seen before?
Yeah, so any tonneau cover out there on the market usually clamps on the inner lip of the bed, much like your toppers or caps. So it's something that's been done for years, and it works really well.
And I tried, before we got started here in the studio, to shake this thing, and I've never seen anything so solid. Almost rolled the truck over. Billie bars are super solid. They are super easy to use. It's super easy to install. They're going to make your life a whole lot easier, make your truck a whole lot more useful. You can find them at billiebars.com.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com, coming to you from the Shade Wagon studio.
The ECT, engine coolant temperature sensors, one of the biggest, heaviest hitters when it comes to fuel delivery. Welcome to this AMSOIL Tech Tip. That's right, it's all about the engine coolant temperature sensor. How does it work? Well, I could explain it to you right here. The computer actually sends out a signal, and when he sends out a signal, you see the 5 volts up there on the yellow wire? It's actually coming up here to the sensor, and then it returns back to the computer. Now the cool part, it could be a negative coefficient thermistor or a positive coefficient thermistor. I know that's big words, but it changes the resistance, and the resistance then varies the voltage returning back to the computer. Pretty cool, and that's how it works. But watch this, I can show it to you right here. We're gonna plug it in right here, and I'm gonna set my meter up to ohms of resistance. You see what we have there on the meter? We got about 2,000 ohms on there. Well, watch this. I said it's gonna change resistance with temperature. Remember, it's sitting in your coolant jacket. So if I take this and I heat it up right there, well, right there in front of your eyes, you see it starting to drop, drop, drop. Now we're down to 1,000, and it just keeps dropping. So what's happening is it's sensing that coolant starting to get hot. It's letting more voltage go back to the computer, and then the computer's going to adjust the fuel delivery. Len, now that coolant sensor has to be in perfect operating condition, and you guys have a product that's actually going to help with that and the whole coolant system.
That's correct. The Dominator Coolant Boost is actually designed to help make the water a better medium to move heat. So it can actually help your car warm up quicker, which makes that sensor react faster. It can also help to keep it cool in super hot conditions. Mainly, it helps with corrosion resistance.
And that's huge because people don't understand. Fuel delivery is key, that 14.7 to 1, that magic number. We go back to that all the time here at Motorhead Garage, but fuel additives, man, that's going to keep your motor running and performance right where you want it.
That's correct. Additives in general, and it doesn't just apply to gas, it applies to everything, diesel included. So AMSOIL has additives for everything. I'm not going to go into each one, but we have stabilizer additives, we have cetane boost, we have octane boost. We have additives specifically designed for just cleaning. The main thing is make sure you're using them because you want to make sure that that system is clean and performing properly.
Yeah, back to that 14.7 to 1. Now the ECT, the engine coolant temperature sensor, it helps maintain that proper fuel delivery. But we're all about the maintenance here at Motorhead Garage, and so is AMSOIL. So you can check out their whole line of product at amsoil.com.
The PaintedAutoParts.com Motorhead of the Week is an up-and-comer in the world of NHRA drag racing. It's 20-year-old Maddie Gordon. Her grandfather Mike and father Doug started an alcohol funny car team back in the mid-90s, and Maddie says she's been in the shop or at the racetrack from the day she was born. In 2020, Maddie joined the team full-time as a clutch specialist, and that is the same year the team won their first of 3 championship titles over the course of 4 years. Coincidence? I think not. In the meantime, Maddie was making her name as a driver in the top dragster class, but when her dad retired, it was time for Maddie to jump into the spotlight and get her top alcohol funny car license. In the 7 races since then, Maddie's been to the final 5 times. times, and she's hit speeds of nearly 270 miles an hour. In May of this year, Maddie got her first funny car win in Indianapolis, so race fans, you are on notice. Maddie Gordon has arrived, and you're going to hear a whole lot more about her in the future. Maddie Gordon, the paintedautoparts.com Motorhead of the Week. More Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com right after this.
The Indianapolis Motor Speedway covers over 250 acres. Just to put that into perspective, everything on this list could fit inside the 2.5-mile track with room to spare. Or, if you'd rather, 3 Disneyland parks could fit into the infield. Amazingly, Indy cars can lap all of it in just under 40 seconds. Stay tuned. More Motorhead Garage right after this. Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com, industrial workbenches with integrated tool storage, and brought to you by PaintedAutoBodyParts.com, the leading U.S. auto body parts online store. Cell phone seat, hands-free is now hassle-free. And by Truckers Warehouse, we do it right the first time.
Motorhead Garage is presented by DragonFireTools.com. You know, just a few years ago, there was a study, and it said that humans can distinguish between over 1 trillion different odors. And of course, when it comes to cars, that can be good. As motorheads, we love the scent of racing fuel, we love burning rubber, and who doesn't love that new car smell? But bad odors can ruin a good time in any vehicle. Just think about it. Mold and mildew in an RV or a boat, pet odors, old food, especially if you have little kids like I do, or the worst, cigarette or cigar smoke. Air fresheners and sprays just mask the odor, and you end up with the smell of strawberries and smoke, or lemon and mildew. It's super gross. Those sprays and air fresheners never actually take care of the problem. But Dead Scent is different. Dead Scent actually eliminates odors at the source. Now, I won't get into the weeds with the science, but when you activate Dead Scent, it produces environmentally safe chlorine dioxide. Those chlorine dioxide molecules actually break up the odor molecules and eliminate the bad scent on the spot. Now, I know what you're asking. Dead Scent is safe for people. It's safe for pets. It is safe for the environment. The package is even recyclable. And yes, Dead Scent is simple to use in your car, RV, your boat, or your home. Scott Vestal, our head of operations here, bought a classic Corvette just a few months ago. It was in good shape, but the previous owners were smokers. Scott remembered that we had a Dead Scent treatment pack on one of our studio shelves. He ran one single treatment of Dead Scent and the smell was totally gone. He tells me that after the treatment, he aired out the car and there was no trace of smoke to be found. And I've been in the car, and believe me, if it smelled like smoke, I wouldn't have gotten in the first place. But don't believe us. Here's a review from the trash crew at the Buffalo Chip Campground, one of the main centers of the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. Wally wrote to say that he used Dead Scent in the crew's trailer. Now we're talking hardworking folks who've been sweating all day and slinging garbage. Just imagine the smell in there. Well, Dead Scent completely eliminated those odors for good. You can find sterling reviews for Dead Scent all over the interwebs, and these are real endorsements from real users. Joy used Dead Scent after her husband forgot some hamburgers in the freezer for a couple of weeks. When they went to take their camper out for another trip, they discovered thousands of flies and the horrible smell of rotting meat. Joy says she was afraid she'd never be able to use her camper again, but Dead Scent came to the rescue. It completely removed the rotten meat smell, and Joy and her husband are happy campers once again. Logan W. had a leaky sunroof, and we know how that kind of mildew can smell really badly for a long time. Well, not after using Dead Scent. And finally, Flo K. has a yacht that stayed sealed up for 2 years, and just imagine what that smelled like. Flo followed the instructions, and she used Dead Scent, and the smell is history. You can find tons of testimonials just like those at deadscent.com. Everything you need to treat even the most offensive odors comes in one package, and there are different sizes depending on what type or size vehicle you're treating. Dead Scent couldn't be easier to use. Check this out. If you can, first of all, you park your vehicle in the shade or you wait till there's no direct sunlight on it. Probably a good idea to lay down a towel before you start the treatment. Then you just open the clamshell and take everything out of the package, pour in some water, fill it right up to the fill line, and you are almost done. Now, take the treatment packet and place it blue side down in the water. That's really important. You'll see it start to react immediately. You just exit and close the space, whether it's a room, a car, an RV, or a boat, and you just wait overnight or for about 6 hours, and you'll be all set. When you come back, just open the windows and air out the space, and you are done. You'll smell the dead scent, which has a clean, maybe slightly salty smell to it, but not for long. Once you air out the vehicle or the room, you will not smell a thing. Pet odors, body odors, vomit, pet accidents, smoke, all gone. And that's because dead scent doesn't mask anything. It eliminates the odors right at the source. I mentioned that I have kids who drop food in the car, which can get stinky. And at last count, we also have about 1 trillion cats. They love it in the den, and sometimes they even find the litter box. But for the times when they don't, Dead Scent has Ultimate Enzyme Spray. You can buy it in 2 different sizes. I'm going to see if I can buy a tanker truck of it. Actually, a little goes a long way. Dead Scent's Ultimate Enzyme Spray uses special microbes to target urine and other organic odors, and the enzymes in the spray eliminate odors right at the source. You will not be able to smell them anymore. It's so good that your pets will even be unlikely to return to the spot again to do their thing or to mark their territory in the first place. Yes, the Ultimate Enzyme Spray is safe to use around your pets. It's safe for the environment. You can use it on pavement, gravel, walls, fake grass, and of course carpets and furniture. But it's not just for pet odors. Parents and daycare workers, you know what kind of smells I'm talking about. And the Ultimate Enzyme Spray is great for trash cans, dumpsters, and even that fridge or garbage disposal. You can read a pile of reviews online. Dead Scent really works, and with very little effort. Just think about how miserable a bad-smelling car or RV can make you feel. Take back your vehicle, get Dead Scent, and eliminate the odor at the source. Find it at deadscent.com. We have hit the finish line for this edition of Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com. We'll do it again next week, same time, same sandbox, and streaming just about everywhere. Thanks for tuning in. Drive safely.